Hey, how you doing? My name is Michael Newell Jr. and this is my Capstone presentation. Um, to start off, I want to acknowledge my proposal and my target audience. My proposal is addressing some of the existing pressures that can be brought upon children playing in their sport at a very young age. And I wanted to talk about the negative impact that parents, coaches, trainers, and peers can have on an individual child, along with the mental toll that it can take on them in relationships that can be built or tore down within families. Kids who reside and play sports in my area, specifically of Ellenwood, Georgia, are often at risk of these negative impacts as their surroundings. I'm sorry, that's supposed to say surroundings. As their surroundings can sometimes add to the pressure to succeed at their sport. And what I mean by this is how sometimes in these low income areas, um, many parents, me included, I have experience from this. Many parents can sort of cause like a certain stigma that the kid is supposed to, work harder than anybody else. Their kid specifically, and it can put a mental toll on a kid at such a young age because they're feeling the pressure of their parents. They don't want to mess up. They don't want to do something wrong. You know what I mean? Let their team down, let their teammates down when their parents are pushing them like this. And it can often cause things to like they can become depressed, have anxiety. You know what I mean? Start resenting their parents, start resenting their teammates, lose friendships and everything. And that's why my target audience is the Stockbridge City Hall Council and the National Alliance for Youth Sports, as I need people who are empowered, who are able to implement things to combat this. The City Hall Council holds majority of the power over many of the sporting and fitness organizations in my area, such as the Fairview Recreation Center, which is my personal recreation center that I've been attending since I was 6 years old. Carl Rodenhires a recreation center, etc. When I say etc., I mean, bigger organizations like LA Fitness, Planet Fitness, Fitness 2020, things like that are still regulated around my area where kids attend. And the National Alliance for Youth Sports helps directly in response to concern over children's safety and health in their sport. But both can help reach my goal of creating a safe and more care-based environment for programs to raise kids in low income areas through. Here's a picture of. I wanted to have a picture of city hall meetings because I feel like in order for this to happen, we would have to conduct meetings where parents of these sports programs attend, the coaches, etc. And also, I added a picture of my Henry County Recreation Center just to show my area. And this is a picture on the bottom left of kids playing and how it's important to have that inclusivity where the parents, the coaches, and the kids have a good relationship, even if no matter what's going on, they have a good relationship with each other. And the last one on the bottom right is a bad example of how, some coaches yell at their kids. Not saying the kid can't get yelled at, but if it's too much, it can be very, very detrimental. My thesis and proposed solutions is too often in sports, parents and coaches push their children way harder than they need to be pushed. Sometimes to the point where the kid can't even enjoy the sport. And as a result of this, many kids are beginning to drop out of sports at a young age. In lower middle class to poor communities like mine, children often face multiple stressors, including economic hardship, limited access to resources, and social instability, which is very true because I feel like in my environment, I see a lot of kids, especially in my neighborhood, who who come from homes that aren't the best and can often be worried about many other things other than the sport they're playing. So they use sports as a getaway, and for their sport to become something of like a chore or something where it doesn't bring joy to them anymore, it could just add another stressor into their life, which can be very, very negative to one's mental health. Whether you're young or old, that can be negative to anybody's mental health. But my proposed solutions are more regulated youth organizations such as the National Alliance for Youth Sports, collaborating with local schools and community organizations where the kids attend, implementing programs that prioritize children's well-being over player performance through the local government. And I say through the local government as in the Stockbridge City Council, but it's so important to prioritize the children's well-being over their player performance. Ensure safe environments for children to play in better courts, fields, courts or fields, have funded teams and organizations, and provide background checks on coaches or leaders, because you never know who is coming out there to coach your child. You know what I mean? You don't know their background. So it should be mandatory. Evaluating children's lives outside of the sport and establishing mental wellness checks amongst schools and programs are very important. Evidence. The last slide talks about the evidence and persuasive methods that I used. Many of the persuasive methods that I used were making my target audience understand the need and the importance of my proposal. How environmental influence has a huge effect on kids in my neighborhood, especially how I believe that will have an effect on them. And how this would be useful because this will begin a process of implementing programs to bring light to parents and guardians in these households who neglect their kids to give them injustice, or give them injustice by the way that they are living. Many kids are brought up in these unfortunate situations, and like I said, I feel like these things have to be combated by, small things at a time. You can't just, put all the money into the bad areas, but by helping out small things at a time, like the sporting and the organizations or the gyms that they all go to, and the schools and the environment, just helping the environment one little small step at a time. And that's what I'm planning on doing with this youth sports thing. And in a recent article from the Los Angeles Times, Audrey Young writes about how youth sports are affecting kids' mental health. She mentions in recent years, children as young as 6 and 7 are increasingly enrolling in high-level sporting programs with professional coaches and year-round competition. Now kids are seeing sports as highly competitive, and parents are also doing that as well. And it shows on how many have dropped out since then. By the age of 13, about 70% of children are completely dropped out of youth sports. And this to me is just so sad in my opinion. And so some fun facts about my topic, and related to that last piece of evidence, I want to talk about my experience growing up playing sports. I started playing basketball and baseball when I was about 5 years old. And from then, from the very beginning, I was in love with the sports. But over time, as I got older and older, especially when I got into high school, I was held back by coaches, my own parents, in regards to how they made me feel about the sport. Even though I was good and oftentimes the best player on my team, I felt the pressure of performing at all times, and how it was affecting me mentally was not something that I liked very much. And so I could just imagine how for any other kid out there, especially younger than I was, because I was about 14 and 15. And I can just imagine how a kid who's 8, 9 years old feels, who's in the area like I was. And I overcame these challenges though, but it was very, very hard. And everybody doesn't have the support system that I have, because I actually came to my parents about it. But overall, I think this topic is something that does not get talked about very much at all, especially on a level like a national level. So I wanted to address it and bring it up in this class, because I thought it would be a great way to start and a great way to go about it. And I don't know if I can motivate anybody else to take action, but I hope I can. And overall, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, this presentation.